Hello, this is John Bloom of Bloom Consulting, and today we're going to talk about Microsoft SQL Server Business Intelligence Integration Services. So what that means is that this is a piece of a component. It's a component within the Microsoft Business Intelligence traditional stack that allows you to move data around using a process called extract, transform, and load, or load and transfer, depending how you see it. And then you can move data from one place to another and massage it along the way. And then this is a useful skill in the data warehousing because a lot of times we pull data from a data source. It could be Oracle, SQL Server, Hadoop. It could be a flat file, and we pull that data in and we move it on to staging. And from staging, we apply business rules and then move it to the data warehouse. So that's how it works. And let's go ahead and get started. Now, in this case, I happen to have Visual Studio 2010 Shell installed on this machine. And what we'll do is we'll go ahead and create a new project and click on Integration Services. And we'll call this Bloom Consulting SSIS Demo 1. So we'll go ahead and leave the create directory for solution, and that'll bundle it all together. The only problem is I think we already have one created for that, so we'll just remove that and say OK. And what it did, it created the shell of a project. So the first thing I like to do is go ahead and create a new connection. And by that, we have a ton to choose from. In our case, since SQL Server uses this OADB, we'll go ahead and select that one. And then we already have one, actually. We just created a few minutes ago through a different demo, but I'll go ahead and create another one just for the fun of it. So sometimes we have it in memory, copy and paste, and we just happen to have it, and we'll go ahead and select our database, which is this one, and then we'll test the connection, and then success, and then that connected by NT authentication, by the way, instead of like a generic username. So we'll go ahead and say OK, and it adds our connection to the project. Now, I'd like to go ahead and click Save because I like saving all the time to prevent loss of coding, which costs time and money. It's frustrating. So I save a lot. So we'll go ahead and open our package. Our package is our DTSX, and DTSX used to be called DTS, Data Transformation Services, which we used back in the early days of 2005 and all that. But they've since been prior to 2000, but now it's called DTSX with X, just like everything else. They add X to everything. So we'll go ahead and click on our package, which is here. Now, this is a blank canvas, and what you have over here is the SSIS toolbox. There's a slew of things you can do, and in our case, what I'd like to do is to move data from one place to another, right? So we'll go ahead and just click it and drag it, right? So there you go, and that was in the control flow. So within the control flow, basically what I'd like to do is double click. Guess what? Now we're in the data flow. From the data flow, we have a source and a destination. We'll go ahead and select the source. We'll drag it on there. I'd like to pull it from SQL Server, our existing connection. Click OK. From there, we'll have a list of objects, perhaps. So there's our connection, a table or view, and you can actually write a SQL statement, right? If you a SQL command. In our case, I would just like to click this drop down, and there's the first table right there, currency. Everybody loves money, so we'll click on the money table, and then click to preview, and guess what? There's data in the money table. So there you go, and there's 3 columns, and then there you go. And then what we'll do is we'll just name this SQL Demo. So it's good to rename things. So there you go. And then sometimes you can make meaningful names also, so that it's easier for the developers downstream. But then again, if you want job security, you make it as cryptic as possible if you want. So there you go. And then what we'll do is we'll create a destination, because every source needs a destination. We'll click on the same SQL Server connection from before, and guess what? There it is. And then we'll just rename that sucker too to demo. See, now we know what it means because it's got the word demo. So what you do is you got a red, that means on failure. You got this one, which might be green on another machine, I don't know. But anyway, you click on that, and what we did, we created a connection. And you can double click on your connection, and you can see the metadata that's involved, and these are the 3 fields that are in question. You can actually do that. And then what you do is you want to say, well, what do I want to do with this table? I'm going to move it from a source to a destination. Typically, in a real world, you would be pulling from a source system, let's say a CRM or a Salesforce or accounting software or a leads database or data analytics, so Google Analytics. So in this case, I want to create a new table, right? So I click on New, and then what I like to do, I typically don't create it here. I just copy the contents and then Open up our SQL server, create new, copy the contents. This I want to call it Bloom Consulting SSIS Demo. And then we'll go ahead and say F5, and the table is now created. So our next trick, we'll refresh, and guess what? There's our table in question. It should appear in our drop-down now, and guess what? There it is. And guess what else? I usually uncheck these suckers, and then also I click on the mappings. Look at that, one-for-one matching, so that's good. And then, so we'll go ahead and click Save for now. Now, one thing you want to keep in mind is this. You can right-click. A lot of times you say, okay, I just created my table from a source and destination, and it's perfect, and I'm going to move it, and that's fine. But then, oh wait, I just added 6 more fields. So now, what the hell happened? But you can click on Resolve References, or for example, you change the data type from a varchar 10 to a varchar 12, and all hell breaks loose. Well, one way you can do it is to delete unmapped input column. So that's a good one, and that'll solve your problem right there. Another one is the Show Advanced Editor, and this is the one I was trying to point to. But you click on here, and you click on Input and Output Parameters, and then what you do is you click on these, and then sure enough, like I can click on Currency Key, and it's 4 byte, and then I should click on here, and it should be the same. But a lot of times those get out of sync, and you have to actually manually change them here. So that's a good point of advice because that happens all the time. So what did we do? Well, we created a connection, we created a source, and we created a destination. So let's go back to our control flow, and this is just different views, and then also you can add parameters. SSIS is extremely customizable. It's mind-boggling everything that you can customize within the framework. So if we were to select from this table, sure enough, there's no records because we just created it and nothing's there. So I could right-click here and say Execute Task, or I could come over here and say Execute Package, and there. And then what we do is we execute the package. The thing loads into memory and performs its operation. It's going to move that data from the source to the destination without erroring, we hope. But obviously, you can add error handling. You can do all sorts of stuff on failure, and then you can record audit trails, so you can determine the start and time. You can determine the row counts and say we started with 200 rows, we ended with 200 rows, and then also throughout your data warehousing scheme, you can do your inserts only where required, and then updates elsewhere. So the thing ran on success, and then let's go back to our SQL Server and let's execute this puppy. And sure enough, we got 105 rows. So that's basically moving data from one place to another using extract, transform, and load through the SSIS tool through the Microsoft Business Intelligence stack. And this has been around for a while, and it's a good tool for massaging data. Obviously, when working with data, mashing data seems to be the most difficult aspect of the entire process. You can automate a lot of, but this part usually takes some thinking. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Again, this is John Bloom from Bloom Consulting, and be on the lookout for more videos in the future. Thanks for watching.